I am so ready for another week of chaos and amazement.
Yeah, welcome to Chaos and Amazement,
where we explore the impact of digital
Yes.
technology on our daily lives.
Yes. And my name is 𝗦𝗵cie, and I've got 𝗦𝗵cie with me with some amazing tech news this week.
Yes. But first, do you remember when we talked about the first case where there was a court case and the person defending themselves would be assisted by an AI? I'm imagining whispering in their ear with an earpiece. Well, that's not going to happen because a bunch of lawyers were very unhappy with this this evolution, and they so the guy who is behind this was a fairly young guy who started Do Not Pay this service, and who now was offering an extension of this service. He got a lot of really nasty letters, and when a lawyer sends you a nasty letter, that's when you have to quit.
It was due for next week.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it because it would have been really interesting if it is possible to win a case when you get the little help with the help of an AI whispering in your ear. But it's not going to happen, unfortunately. Speaking of AI, of course, do you remember the expression, there's an app for that?
Yeah.
Well, now there's an AI for that. And some guy created a website. There's many websites now that contain indexes of all the different applications for AI. Usually they're organized like text-to-image, conversational AI. And it's hard to keep up with all of these. And a minute ago, you were looking for a way to create a little intro music for our show. There's an AI for that.com.
Okay.
And you can simply look up the tools that are available to do that. So for me, I work a lot with marketing professionals. That's a large part of my audience. And I see that it's already having an impact when it comes to creating content. So it's now a lot easier to create text and images and even video. It's more efficient. You don't have to hire someone. The whole process is streamlined. And the interesting is, of course, this type of AI-generated content is now ending up on the internet. And there are two sides of this coin. As always, on the one side, there's CNET, so CNET, trusted source of tech-related news. And they were caught using an AI, so they fired a number of their journalists and then more or less replaced them with people creating, high volumes of content using AI. But the result was, although they say that they used a sophisticated text generator. You're having your hand on the buzzer, right? You're expecting me to mention.
Here we come.
No, I feel like parents talking about something and the child is listening and then they start spelling out like CHAT GPT. So that it still counts.
Yeah, it still counts.
It still counts.
Of course.
So, although they claim they used a sophisticated text generator, it was not that sophisticated because the end result, the text that were published on CNET.com, they were considered as pilfered work. So it was unclear. It's like plagiarism. So it was clear that they were using sources without citing them and then merely rewording articles that were already. And that's what gets real journalists in trouble if you're writing non-original text. And it can have consequences if you claim to be a serious publication like CNET does, and you fire a journalist and replace them with AI. The AI content is not always up to standards as a journal, like mentioning the right sources. And then on the other side of the same coin, there's BuzzFeed, and BuzzFeed is you can buy shares of BuzzFeed, and they're doing really, really well because the price of the shares went up in the course of the week.
But it's a journalism.
No, that's the main thing. BuzzFeed does not claim to be to be a journalistic news source.
Blog website then.
Yes, they specialize in viral content, and they've been around for quite a while, but they actually had like a system where they knew what type of content would go viral and what wouldn't. That's what BuzzFeed is famous for. In Belgium, we had a BuzzFeed copy called @𝗦𝗵cie. I'm not sure if it's still around, but it uses the same tactics, like content that evokes strong emotions, for example, where people were either horrified or they thought it was funny. And BuzzFeed became like the specialized news source for that type of content. And then later on, a lot of copycats came around. Now, a serious news source, Reuters.com, published the news. And then afterwards, the shares of BuzzFeed just went soaring. That BuzzFeed is now offering a content service. And one of their first customers is Meta. Okay. So that's good for you, BuzzFeed. Basically, providing AI-generated content. So CNET gets punished and BuzzFeed gets rewarded. And what they will also do, BuzzFeed, is offer a service to help creators use AI more efficiently and not get caught like CNET. Which reminds me of... I didn't invent a word, but I think what the world is... You know, this whole context where people say... AI will take my job. So there's two schools, and there's this: either robots will take my job or AI will take my job. And it's interesting. VentureBeat.com published an article. I'm just going to quote it. People mistakenly believe AI is going to steal their job, but someone who uses it better than they do will. So I think the job of the future, maybe you'll get fired, like the journalists were fired at CNET, and get replaced not by an AI, but by an AI whisperer. So there's a whole debate at two of the colleges where I teach. Should we allow students to use AI to assist them in producing content, not just their thesis, but and I say yes, because the job market will expect us to deliver profiles who are able to work with AI. And I call them AI whisperers. You have horse whisperers, you have AI whisperers, and then they're all different, you know, working with GPT and Midjourney. The prompts, how actually it learns from you, and I quite often use commands like learn. It doesn't always listen, but it learns from how you react to the output that it gives you, and it's more like a dialogue. And I think someone who is now at college or university, by the time they enter the job market, these tools will be there no matter what. They will be integrated in a lot of tools that we use every day, into search engines, into chatbots, into websites, into apps. So the ones who are able to work with an AI and train it and use the output from the AI to make a better product, and they will get ahead. And Fiverr, with 2 R's, Fiverr is the place where you can hire creatives for a very short-term period. Like you pay them $5 to do something for you. It's very often used by growth hackers. If they want someone who does a manual job that they don't feel like doing, then you can use Fiverr. So it's a marketplace for freelancers, but usually for very short, limited. And Fiverr now offers AI-related services. And so you can book AI whisperers right there.
But what is AI whisperers? What is it?
Well, for example, if you look at producing images, and you work with, for example, Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, as you know, one of the jokes is that these text-to-image generators are really bad at creating hands. But there are some people, by defining the prompt better, are able to produce high-quality images, and where people have like 5 fingers on every hand. And that's what I call AI whisperers. They know what input they have to give in the system, and they are also able to train the AI so they don't have to write really long prompts every time. I did this with the tool we shall not mention, but it's by OpenAI.
Mention it.
You know, the one. For 3 weeks, I trained it to write like me. by giving feedback every time. The text is too long. This is how I rewrote it. So for 3, and then it wasn't 100%, but I had the impression that it was listening to me for like 80% of the time. For example, when you asked it to write like a blog post, it would always end with a final paragraph where it would write some sort of a roundup or a conclusion. And this final paragraph always started with the word overall and a comma, and I don't like overall. And then I had to tell the system at least 5 or 10 times, please do not use overall, avoid overall. And then for a while it went well, okay. and then the overall couldn't help itself, I guess. And then of course the whole system was reset, and I lost all of the training.
Okay, yeah.
But that's what I call an AI whisperer, because AIs can do a lot of things, but because they're so good with a large data set, they can also have a personalized service one-on-one and learn from the previous. That's why I think AI Whispers is the type of profile that is going to be. Maybe we should make it a separate category on socialrunners.com.
Yeah.
When you say,
I think it's good to have.
I can work with AI.
Yeah,
I can talk to AI. So Fiverr already knows this. AI services is a category on their website, and you can, for example, right now it's fairly limited, but they saw their traffic go up with 1,400%, which is like, I can't even wrap my head around what does that even mean. But it's a large platform, of course. Fiverr, when they offer it, that's an interesting signal. But also when they see that demand was high enough, and then
it's also an SEO issue. SEO is pushing AI to the top now.
SEO, yeah,
as YouTube as well. So when you
AI-related content, the markets are hungry for AI-related content or content about AI.
Yeah, everybody's talking about AI. So
now it's also fairly good at writing code and debugging code, and one of those online communities for everyone who codes is GitHub, of course. And then on GitHub there is now an OpenAI cookbook. So that literally explains you in detail how you have to formulate your prompts. Yeah. So what comes back as a code is good at the first try. So I kind of like this. There's the whole new market and whole new layer on top of AI services, and I think that's where the business model of companies like OpenAI is, and this is also what makes Google and Meta very nervous, because for them AI projects are just one of the many things that they do, and they cannot simply integrate it into their search engine because there's so much going on, and Google search engine has so many like advertisers. And there's so many people who would become very nervous at the fact that the result would be.
There was one guy this week who fixed Siri with ChatGPT. That was crazy. There's one developer who uses shortcuts on your iPhone, and Siri was communicating with you like OpenAI works. So that was
finally, because I still wonder why Siri is still so stupid. I mean, Apple has so many users, and they turn her on. I mean, turning on. I mean, that she's being with every update of iOS, Siri is back. Yeah, and I don't want. She's incredibly stupid. But Microsoft is on the winning hand now, of course, because they are a large part of OpenAI's business model, and they fund it, and they are one of the biggest internal customers now, I think, for OpenAI-related services. So just imagine that Bing, I mean, Bing, it's like the Microsoft Clippy of search engines. We all know it's there, but we don't want to use it. No. It's trying to be helpful, but over the years, by the way, the market share of Bing as a search engine has crept up from, let's say, 5% of the market to 8 to 10%. So it's growing. And just imagine that Bing would integrate,
ChatGPT
and Dolly, for example. Yeah. So instead of searching on the web for you, It would simply create whatever you need in the form that you need it. And I think it can be fixed if people are getting nervous about the ethical part of it. For Microsoft Bing, it would be pretty easy to also ethically show what the sources were.
That's the difficult part.
But if you're a search engine, you can.
Yeah, you can, but it's many sources, I think, when AI is working.
So the AI, and that's similar to what U.com does. We discussed U.com earlier. Bing would just present it to you in a format that you need. It could be an image, text and image, could be a video, whatever you need at that time. It could talk to you. Maybe they need to bring back their chatbot. And then when you scroll down, you can see where it was sourced. So you don't get like 10, maybe your answer is in one of these 10 search results. No, you will get the best result, best according to the AI. But then it would have to tell you where it got this information. I think we're going somewhere with this thing.
Yeah, it will be fast now. It's growing so fast, the AI. Everybody's talking about it.
Yes, and of course, I'm interested by AI that creates content, right? So Cory Doctorow, he's been around he's one of those people where he's an original thinker when you talk about media and internet. So Cory Doctorow published a blog post about what he calls a phenomenon he calls Enshittification of the internet. And it's not just because of AI-generated content, but it's because of there's content that is optimized for social media, and there's content that is optimized for search engines. And then, of course, there will be AI-generated content. So these are the three types of content that will inundate the internet. And of course, Cory Doctorow is from that generation of bloggers who had a lot of, they were the influencers of the 2000s, from 2000 to 2010. Bloggers were the influence, and they were writing original content, right? And this is now replaced by these three types of shitty content, as he called it, because there is a particular type of content that will work well on social media, but it's so optimized, where you have like on TikTok and on YouTube thumbnails, I think is a good example. YouTube thumbnails are the clearest example of how shitty content can get. They make this collage, and we do the same thing, right? Because the click through to your video is a lot higher if it involves one face or two faces where people look like, oh, they point at something.
That's what they want to see.
That's what they want to see. And then you have like a flashy green square.
Yeah.
So, enshittification. And of course, it's a matter of time before someone says, will somebody please think of the children? Because it's a whole generation of young people growing up with this as their input. I always think that's boring because it's a discussion that comes back systematically every 5 years. So kids don't read newspapers anymore. They never have. I mean, kids don't care about newspapers. Kids don't, now maybe they will say kids don't watch TV anymore. And social media will ruin their brains. So that was from a website called statnews.com, so STAT news.com. They published a study that says that teens who check social media, which is full of shittification, right? Who checked social media more frequently showed greater activity in the regions of the brain, wait for it, related to motivation, control, and salience. So I think it's stupid to think that a brain can be influenced, how a brain works, just by watching TikTok videos all day. The brain it has some plasticity, but before neural pathways are being rewired by stuff that you see on your smartphone, that's not gonna happen, I think. On the other hand, TikTok, of course, which is the ultimate shittification platform, I think. I know sour grapes, but I'm not on TikTok because I can see why it works. I can see the attraction, and I can see how easily, as a TikTok user, you get sucked in by the content. But the content in itself doesn't speak to me. It might be an age thing.
I think when you are long enough on the platform, you will get the content
algorithm
that you need that you want to see. My feed is awesome. It's all about motivational and mindfulness and stuff like that. It's really good business.
Yeah, maybe I haven't fed the feed enough. So sometimes things go viral, but there are humans in the loop. So if you work at the TikTok moderation team, they have a feature where they can, it's called heated videos, so they can heat up a video and then kind of push it to the feed. And this only came out in the course of the week. Is that
fair?
No, of course it's not fair. But if the algorithm decides, I think people will watch the same thing again and again because that's what they want to see.
Yeah.
With some new things thrown in, but maybe if there's a large advertiser, and now of course that's not okay. An important advertiser once in a while posts organic content and then maybe nicely asked the team. It's a heated discussion.
So I need to friend someone at TikTok. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And TikTok influencers, that's a different topic because TikTok influencers don't make money like YouTube influencers can. TikTok is working on it, and there are some exceptions to the rules. There are some formulas that allow you as a TikTok influencer to somehow make money. But some of them want to become a singer, and I have absolutely no idea who these people are. Except for the D'Amelio sisters, of course. So there's Charlie and there's Dixie, and then Dixie released a single, and I have to watch because those names really.
Yeah, but there are many people who kickstart
Bella Porch, Lauren Gray. So what they do, they realize that as a TikTok influencer, you're dependent on the TikTok algorithm, and there's no kickback of the advertising revenue that TikTok generates. So they try a different business, and this business appears to be the music industry. So the logic is, I already have an audience of a couple of millions of fans. Even if only 10% of them buy my album or listen to my streams on Spotify, I can still make money that way. And a record company might also think, oh yeah, we already have someone who is well-known, so probably... I'm not sure, man.
Yeah, but you see also in the top charts, it's always a song that is good on TikTok, on iTunes and
it's
Spotify.
probably because music is so entwined with TikTok that I was wondering why they chose a music career and not become an actor or something. But of course, yeah, TikTok is music and music is TikTok.
It was Musical.ly in the beginning.
In the beginning, yeah, of course. Well, whoever they are, Bella Porch, Addison Rae, Kim Loiza, and then Dixie, Lauren Gray. So they're all betting their future on a music career. So good luck, girls. Now, I'm not sure if there are any comments right now, but if there aren't...
Nope, we don't have any comments.
I've been busy blogging in the past week or so. So you're going to have to hit that buzzer again. This is...
Tell it. Say it.
Say it, Klaus. Say it.
Say it.
Don't make me. So one of the biggest news of the past week was, of course, that ChatGPT will no longer be a free service, which is logical. I mean, the costs of keeping this all up with literal millions of users.
We discussed it already.
Yeah, so they have to. And as you know, like we discussed last week, so they launched a survey among their users, what would be the ideal price point for you? And I had a gut feeling, if you look at how expensive Canva.com is, for example, or how cheap it is, or HubSpot sales, the the price point, my gut feeling was between $15 and $25 or euros a month. Well, it's a lot. It's a lot higher.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's $42 a month, which would be about $500 a year, a little more. And I get the logic behind this, of course, and for the premium version, so there would always be a free version. It's like a freemium model.
Yeah, it's also not that there is a captive on the words you can get. It's only
just like Jasper.
Yeah.
You mentioned Jasper last time. Jasper AI. You can have Jasper generate 10,000 words
characters,
for free, and then or characters.
Characters,
probably limits, and of course when there are bandwidth issues, the free users would not be able to use the service.
This is the thing that they do now. For $42, you have the bandwidth. You are up front in the line for.
But I am pretty convinced. Why 42? Why not? Why not $49.99?
Why 42?
And that's of course because of this book over here, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, by one of my all-time favorite authors, Douglas Adams. This was originally not a book, but a play on BBC Radio, and it's science fiction. It's absurdist humor. And one of the many crazy concepts in The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is this supercomputer called Deep Thought. And now, of course, no, I'm not going to start about the porn movie with a similar title, but this was created in the 1980s, I think, and then the porn movie was from the 70s. So the author was well aware of a particular adult movie that had a similar title to Deep Thought. Now, this supercomputer is created by humanity, and it can answer any question, and humanity can ask one question. And this question, which is not really a question, is what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? And then Deep Thought has to think about it for a couple of decades, and or even longer than that, pretty long time. So humanity waits patiently, and then they come back and they ask, what is the answer? And Deep Thought says, you're not going to like the answer, but you still want it, humanity says. And then Deep Thought said, the answer is 42, which is a totally random number that Douglas Adams invented, but every
geek now uses the
every self-identifying geek knows this number. And I'm pretty sure this is why they picked this number. And I asked the language model we mentioned a couple of times, and it said yes, the number 42 is used internally at the company OpenAI whenever they want to talk about a problem or an issue that is very hard to solve. Speaking of deep thought, for example, so in itself, it was already a reference to something else, and then itself became a reference. So in the 80s, I think it was 1984, IBM famously had a computer that defeated the then champion in chess, Garry Kasparov, in chess, and this computer was called Deep Blue. So IBM called their first supercomputer, they named it after Deep Thought. And I'm pretty sure that Google's AI project, which, among other things, created AlphaGo, the supercomputer who beat Lee Sedol in one of the hardest board games, Go. So the project is called DeepMind.
Yeah, true.
So there's so many layers to all of this. So I had to giggle when I saw 42. It's not a coincidence.
It's good that we have you, because nobody would guess that the number is something special for these people.
Us nerds, we love 42.
I thought 420. It's also a concept that is returning all the time.
Yes, 420 can be interpreted as a time of the day, but also as a date. And if you refer to it as a date, then you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Are you aware of what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So it's someone's birthday, and so 420 is the time in the afternoon where you're allowed to light up.
Light up, yeah.
To light up, right? And then the 20th of April is someone's birthday. For those for the curious, it is the same person if you want to chat with the historical figure, in historical figures chat, the app we talked about last week, it will cost you 500 credits.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
How many euros?
Oh, yeah, no, it must be, the 50 euros or $50.
Because you get 99 credits.
At first
free.
in the free version,
so,
yes.
wow.
Yeah, you'll never get to talk to that guy unless you pay for it. Oh, wow. Okay, 424, 42, 420. I have no idea how I can make the transition to Amazon, but there we are. So Amazon is a lot more than the everything store. And so they've had health and pharmaceutical related projects for a while now. Some of them are, semi-secret. One of their semi-secret projects was called 1492, which was, we have a date, when Columbus arrived in the Americas. They launched Amazon Care. Sometimes they will just leave these projects, or they would rather buy up smaller companies that are health-related. But it's clear that at Amazon, they think that the health market is a really interesting one. And so the news was this week that Amazon enters the market for affordable prescriptions. I'm just going to...
That's interesting because in Belgium they are talking about that there's a shortage in drugs. So
yes, but Amazon basically, with what they know about their users and their behavior, for example, if you have Amazon Echo can know that you have a cold, because the way when you say, how do you address an Amazon Echo?
I don't have one.
I
have Amazon Prime for watching series, but...
Well, it would know that you have a cold and then maybe suggest that you order cold medicine online and then have it flown to you by a drone.
They are expanding the business, oh my.
So Amazon Pharmacy, that was in the news last week, and I had to investigate because I know that the healthcare in America is a big mess. They don't have universal healthcare like we have in Europe or in Belgium. You have universal healthcare. You're basically legally obliged to use one of those healthcare services, and they don't have that. So if you get sick in the United States, you're in trouble. It could get very expensive, and specifically the price of some of the medicines is an issue. For example, because there are like a handful of pharmaceutical companies, and a lot of them have the monopoly on one particular type of medicine. So if you have a particular disease like cancer medicine or you have to take this medicine every day, and there's only one company that makes the medicine, they can actually raise the price to $700 per shot or something like that, and there's nothing you can do about it. So this has two effects. On the one side, there's a black market on the dark web, for example, for this type of generic versions of expensive medicine. Also for opioids, of course, painkillers, that gets a lot of people addicted. So there's the black market. And then there's the open capitalist market with Amazon Pharmacy. And there are a lot of those. A lot of those platforms, for example, like OneRx, Single Care, Pharmacy Checker, they're comparison engines. So if your doctor prescribes you a particular type of medicine, you can use these platforms to try and find out where you can order these online with this prescription and where it would be the cheapest for you to do so.
But Amazon is cheap. It's on subscription
Of course, yeah. And it's part of Amazon Prime, Amazon Pharmacy. So I think that's pretty bad news for all of those other players. So maybe while trying to break the monopoly of the big pharmaceutical companies by offering a marketplace to compare prices, Amazon Pharmacy might just as well become the new monopoly for ordering drugs online. And of course, there's an AI for that. That it's another way of looking at the same problem. I keep mispronouncing it. It's not Angel Health, it's Angle Health. Angle Health popped up on my radar because they got how many millions? 58 million in a Series A funding round. It's a Series A funding round. So it's not the first one, not the only one. But what they do is they use AI to try and to optimize the way how medicine gets personalized and how it gets to the patient. And this is something that the 1492 project at Amazon was supposed to do. Imagine that you have a subscription to a pharmacy, but you only get like one pill per week. And this one pill is being produced just for you based on everything that you have and your symptoms and how you're feeling. So this is technology that is already there, where you would have to check in once a week with a virtual doctor, which would ask you questions and which would, show me your tongue, how are you feeling, can you synchronize the data of your Apple Watch, and then based on that, your pill would be, and this is interesting because one pill can be flown to you with a drone, or could be packaged with whatever else you're ordering from, and then we're back at Amazon, of course. So,
wow, personal data.
Yeah, Angle Health, it's called digital first care. So everything is digital. So I think you would need to see like a human doctor like once a year, and then everything in between is taken care of by an AI.
And with the wee things you scan,
and the Apple Watch, I think, is at this point is one of the most important health data input devices that we have, because it can do a lot more now than just check your heartbeat.
Yeah, crazy. So
I think there will be an overflow to our market, because it's not because there's universal healthcare here, especially as you get older, like we all do. But once you hit a particular bump, for me it was like, once you turn 50.
You're too young for that.
Yeah, but there's still, a lot of stuff that starts to ache when you wake up in the morning and you slept a little funny. And then you pulled, I don't know, a muscle or something, or your neck aches. That wasn't when I was young. So I would be interested in. It's also very seasonal. I'll feel better when it's hot and dry than when it's cold and wet like it is today. So I would be interested in this type of health prescription digital first service.
But I think there's a long way to go, because a lot of people don't like the thought about their sharing their data, their personal data, their health and stuff like that.
But you already do.
Yeah, you already do, but people don't recognize it.
The smartphone, any smartphone that you have already knows a lot more about your health than you do. For example, the speed at which you type can tell you something about how, if you have manic depression, how fast you type and at what hours of the day you type can tell your smartphone whether you're
really?
Up or down. Yes, of course. Yeah, there's a lot more health data that we provide to.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm learning a lot here.
As you know, I'm a little obsessed with facial recognition as well, and like the virtual doctor can read a lot from your facial expression and can see if you're lying about the fact that you're happy and feeling well. But I think that's interesting. But where I think it gets dangerous is that facial recognition is being applied to images of people's faces, images that were being collected by public cameras, like security cameras, for example, and they're everywhere. What I've been following this. There are several artists that try to be really creative about this. And a while ago, I blogged about an artist who proposed to use black and white makeup in David Bowie had this period in his career where he would use like triangles and different colors. Now, if you do that and you cut your hair in really sharp angles, and then the facial recognition software will not recognize your face anymore as a face. But of course, if you do not want to be noticed by facial recognition systems, usually used by governments and police. Belgian police, for example, they use it if they're looking for someone. You kind of stand out when you wear this kind of cubist makeup and weird hair. So that really didn't solve the issue. Now an Italian company came up with a creative way of getting around it. So they are selling, so let me see what their exact name is. Capable, but it's spelled CAP for cap and then underscore and then able. Capable. What they do, they sell sweaters, knitted garments. So they sell really ugly sweaters. I'm not into. I don't have any sense of style, but even me, when I looked at the sweaters, I was like, "Whoa, yeah, they're not pretty." But what they do is that they throw off the algorithms that try to recognize you from your face or the fact that you're a person or a man or try to identify you. So when you wear the sweater, it doesn't scream like I'm wearing a hoodie and glasses and I'm wearing makeup and a wig. Someone will see you and think, wow, that's an ugly sweater, and that's it. You don't really stand out,
No.
apart from maybe not having a sense of style. So capable.design is the place where you can buy these sweaters. And I like it because a sweater is normal, It's you can wear anything as a sweater. It'd be super. I like how creative it is. And I like how the idea of facial recognition proofing our lives is still alive after 10 years.
I'm waiting for this moment that the doorbell is with facial recognition, because when you are with the groceries running around, it just...
Can't a Ring doorbell, the Ring?
No.
Can it? No, but
No.
It has a camera. Why wouldn't it be able...
No.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Or when you're drunk and you with the...
Yes, and then you're trying to find the keyhole. Of course. And then do the same thing for your cat or dog.
Yeah.
That would solve a lot of issues.
They have with the fingerprint, but it's like a really massive doorbell, and that's nothing that I want.
I like the idea of it, but it does have a weak spot. If someone is already dead, all you need is cut off the thumb and you can still open the door. Yeah. But the face, that's harder, because I think good facial recognition can see if someone is dead or not.
True.
Wow, death. Let's talk about innovation in Belgium. There was a company called Dung, and I'm thinking where how did they get up with a name for that company called Dung?
Yeah, it's a crazy name.
It's like, or Dung, maybe you have to pronounce it as Dung or Dung. So
Dum.
if you're listening, it's a Belgian startup, and they're specializing in recycling initiatives and circular economy. I like it. What I like about their latest invention is a hair recycling initiative where they will work with hairdressers, and it doesn't even have to be long hair, just hair, and then turn it into filters for the country's waterway. It appears that specifically hair is hair clippings, right? So hair clippings have this property of absorbing oil and other hydrocarbons that pollute waterways. So, as you know, the oceans are being polluted. There's a lot of plastic, and you can filter out a lot of the bigger garbage that's floating in riverways. But everything that is oily, like from the kind of skin products that we use, and sunscreen, that's very hard to get out of the river before it enters the ocean. And by using hair clippers, so hair has this property to suck up oil. And so they created a product to work with hairdressers, and it's called the Hair Recycling Project.
Yeah, that's interesting because...
by the Belgian non-profit Dung.
You have this company Clean Water Global, and they are rinsing the polluted paint water out of it's drink water once again when they clean it out. All the polluted, it's a lot of plastic. But
paint from what? From like artists?
Painting the walls.
The walls, painting cars.
Cars, stuff like that. And when they go to the filters, it's back to drinking water again. And it's crazy how many plastic is in paint. When you rinse out your rollers or brushes, it's all going into the sewer. and that's not good. It's going directly to the ocean. So maybe they can work together.
Dung Dung, and what's the other company?
Clean Water Global.
Clean Water Global, also yes. Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium. Yeah.
No, Dung Dung.
From
Clean
this
Water
region.
Global. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
As you know, so we talked about a lot of topics today. It was an interesting week, and now it's time for some weird shit, right? So that's why I really love the internet. It's just sometimes things will go viral and you go like, what? So we talked about TikTok influencers who are trying to make money from the fact that they are influencers, and that's a lot harder on TikTok than on YouTube. And this week, I know facepalm, but there's a Snailfluencer. A Snailfluencer. So there is a TikTok account called Slimetown USA. So in one word, Slimetown USA. And the most recent video, which got, let me see, over 700. Yeah, let's have a look. What's going on here? So there's a snail with a handbag.
Wow, it's an expensive handbag. He's going
slowly getting on a train.
Oh my God.
Enjoying the view. The handbag is still there.
Yeah, he's really enjoying the view. He's
and
looking over the window.
It's like 10 seconds long, and that's about it. So it got 778,000 views.
1 million.
But that's not why I'm showing you this. One of the hashtags with this particular post is #ad. And if you're an influencer and you're being paid by an advertiser to show off the product, you're obliged to add #ad. And in Belgium it's a little more complicated, but it's a best practice to do so. So this snail that we've just been watching with 750,000 other people, this snail got a sponsoring budget from Burberry.
The handbag was from Burberry.
The handbag is, let me see, which one? The Francis bag.
Damn.
Let me just see how much would it... But it works because we're now talking about the Francis bag by Burberry.
Yeah, wow.
It's a leather bag, and it costs... around... I just got like a heart attack. It's a 2,000 euro bag. Okay. So there's a snail on TikTok, which is being used by Burberry as an influencer to promote a 2,000 euro handbag.
The owner of this TikTok account is really smart.
I wonder what the advertising agency was that's behind it. So it's either Ryan Reynolds' advertising agency or Whedon and Kennedy. These are two advertising agencies that will come up with the wacky stuff like this. And I have to say the production quality is rather high, because I think it's very difficult to light a snail and to work with the green key. And I'm waiting now, and maybe we can show it next week, for the making of. Because working with animals is hard enough as it is. But working with a snail... in a production like this for Burberry for 2000, I just can't believe it. So she is called Velveeta. The snail has a name. She's called Velveeta, and there's an interview with Velveeta.
An interview as well.
Velveeta, hang on. Velveeta Snailfluencer.
What does she say?
Yes, more than one interview. Days Digital is one of those. Velveeta the snail. One of her quotes is, "I'm fucking crazy, but I am free." So she has a personality. Also, it's a she. I wasn't even aware that snails had a gender. Velveeta, and she keeps correcting the interviewer on how to correctly pronounce her name. She says yes.
Yes.
Which sounds a lot like Anna, what's her name again? The fake Russian heiress. She sounds a little bit like that. Yes, I was always an unusual girl. No fixed personality, just an inner indecisiveness that was as wide and wavering as the ocean.
Oh my God.
Then a question, did you always want to be an influencer?
Yes.
And Velveeta said, yes! I was a singer, not a very popular one. And then, we're back at my previous talking topic about TikTokers wanting to become a singer. This is the other way around. Velveeta was first a singer and then became a TikToker.
This is crazy.
The questions are good. I imagine people tend to overlook you when you are only 1 centimeter tall. Oh my God, lol, yeah. Yes, okay.
But
so
not on TikTok.
TikTok account called Slimetown USA. So one word, Slimetown USA.
Smart.
And there you can...
Really smart.
Yeah, I like it. And then to end in beauty, which is... I spent a lot more time on this website, and I would like to admit it's called 𝗦5.me. But the I in high and in 5 is replaced by the number 1. So 𝗦5.me is the URL, and but it's like h1ghf1ve.me. And it's a simple website to high five people from around the world. It's not very useful. So that's all the website does. When you visit the website, can you show it?
No, we broke it.
We broke it
1 hour ago. Yeah, no, it doesn't.
So the website went down due to high traffic because 𝗦𝗵cie and Phil Verheyen mentioned it in their weekly live show. So 𝗦5.me is a website. All you see is like a roughly crudely drawn hand, like a cartoon hand. And what you have to do is click on it, and that's
it.
And that's when you high five it. And then, like with real high fives, it's left hanging there.
Yeah. Don't keep me hanging.
Yeah, it's left. The hand is left hanging, and sometimes for a long while, until another visitor on the website visits the website and then sees your hand hanging there, and then clicks on it, and then you high five someone.
So I clicked on it 1 hour ago. If nobody clicks on it, then if you click on it now, then I got this high five back.
Yes, we guarantee you, if you do it right now, we will high five you back. When someone high fives you back, you get to see where they are from. So that's interesting. It's got a lot to do with time zones, I get. But with some friends on Twitter, they got a high five back from Wuhan. And they went like, ugh. It reminds me of the Earth sandwich. Do you know that concept?
Yeah.
So for those who don't, an Earth sandwich is you have to take like one piece of bread, slice of bread, and then put it on the ground, and then try to find someone. And we use the internet for that, of course. For us, it would be in the sea, somewhere, the ocean between New Zealand and Australia, right? But it's not super strict. But if you can find someone on social media who is willing to also put a slice of bread on the ground, you can make an Earth sandwich. So I think this high five reminds me of that. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of amazement.
True that.
We had Snailfluencers high-fiving people.
This one is the craziest one.
AI whisperers. So people who want to listen to us, see this, follow clips on us, the show notes will be in my newsletter on Substack. It's 𝗦𝗵cie.substack.com. Please subscribe, and it will be sent to you tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock sharp.
And it will also be on podcast, on Spotify and Apple Podcast, and you can find it in the description below. And as well on YouTube, we have our own YouTube channel now.
Dedicated YouTube channel now.
Chaos and Amazement, so go check us out.
Chaos and Amazement. Well, if you're watching this, you've stuck with us until the end, so we love you for that. And until further notice, we'll see each other next week, 5 o'clock, CET. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love you.